Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Robert from Islam for Europeans. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I wanted to respond to a video left by a good brother of mine that I'm following on Twitter. Now, I'm not going to give the brother's name because I don't want to link it to the video that he just posted on it. Because honestly, we don't know the context. We don't know if the family or the people involved with this video actually agreed for this video to be placed online. So that's one issue that I'm definitely gonna talk about. But it's a nikah, a wedding, I believe somewhere in West Africa, where a father is advising her daughter publicly in a room with all the elders and family members about what her responsibilities are as a wife in Islam. So I'm just going to read off uh, what that was about. I made the transcript actually. So, I'm just going to read it off verbatim. This is a father advising his daughter at the nikah, right? So I'm just going to read off exactly what he said, with the translation, basically. Don't ever obey someone who is not your husband. Don't ever go out when your husband is not around. I did not agree. I warned you. If you ask him anything and he says he doesn't have, don't ask him again. I warned you. If he brings chaff for you and he says that's all he's got, collect it and bless him and go cook for him then. Don't let him report you to me that he asked you to do something and you refused. You know me and you know my heart. You obeyed me and that's why you're here today. I bless you and may Allah make you stay in your house fine. Everyone you see here comes because of you. I'm warning you. Don't let anyone destroy your home. If your husband said he will add another wife, help him. If he said, I'll add another wife, help him. I'm telling you, if you listen to me, you will be fine. Whatever you need, I'll do it for you when I'm alive. I'm telling you, whenever you need, if it's beyond my strength, I'll do it for you. But don't disobey your husband. If you do, by Allah, I'll get angry with you. These people here are my elders, and I'm telling you all this in their presence. May Allah bless you. And then at the end is like I guess, a caption. I think it's like someone giving a voiceover. It's important we educate ourselves and respect the values and practices of other cultures. What has made them survive and prosper? We might learn something if we stay open minded. If you feel like criticizing, it's human nature. Just drop your thoughts down in the comments section. So, a couple of things here. So, um, first of all, I disagree with giving this kind of talk or speech publicly. I've seen this before where, a female convert would get married to a born Muslim. And, an imam would give kind of like a variant of this, but kind of like in a joking way. Like, I remember one imam actually said, if you hit your wife, don't hit her on the face or the hands, and then you should be fine, in a joking way. And then right then and there, she's like, I want a divorce right now, or I'm going to leave Islam. So I think it just kind of points to the fact that, I guess, born Muslims and converts are in completely different situations here. Now, for born Muslims, their entire family's Muslim. Their entire society is Muslim. So, they understand the dynamics of the family and the rights and responsibilities of the wife and the husband in Islam, right? So, um, saying this even in a public gathering, there's going to be no long-term or short-term consequences, right? Now, for converts, there certainly might will be. Like, if can you imagine if a female convert brought her family to this kind of wedding, and then she was getting married into this family, and the imam or the father-in-law said something like this to her publicly? There would be an absolute storm that she would have to deal with afterwards. Maybe it might result in her family disowning her. Maybe it might result in the family trying to sabotage the marriage. And I know that this video that was produced, Allah knows best whether or not the father agreed to having this filmed in the first place or being displayed to the entire world. And that's why I'm not actually giving the name of the person who tweeted this, because I want other people to see it. But in general, I guess what kind of lost my train of thought here. Like there's no consequences if you're a born Muslim, because this video wasn't meant to be informative. It wasn't meant to, like the video, the raw footage of the video. It wasn't like they were like, we're filming this video because we're trying to teach non-Muslim Westerners about Islam. So it was just filmed as a raw footage, as like, this is what the father expects of her daughter, right? But in the comment, in the voiceover at the end, it says pretty much verbatim, like, it's important that we understand other cultures. So I would not present this video to my non-Muslim family about teaching my my non-Muslim family about Islam and how marriage works in Islam, right? Because this is not an educational video. This is a very sensitive topic, for converts and their families. And you have to really break it down. Like, these are the responsibilities of the husband. The husband is supposed to provide everything for his wife in terms of like food and clothing and shelter, physical protection. And in the Quran, Allah says that to treat your wives with ma'ruf. The Arabic word is ma'ruf, which it's translated the tafsir, which is in a customary way. So it depends on what the custom or the culture of the people is, what is expected of the wife and husband. In certain cultures, in certain Muslim cultures, it's customary for a wife to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner for her entire family, for the husband and his family. And this is just understood in that culture. And when she has daughters-in-law, they're going to pamper her, right? But that's not a practice even in all Muslim cultures. Like in other Muslim cultures, they're much more lenient. When it comes to what is expected in terms of nutrition, right? In this particular culture, they might be extremely poor, and chaff may be the only thing that they have. So you bless it and you say alhamdulillah, and praise be to God, and you cook it. But that's not the situation here in the West. I mean, there's different expectations on like nutritional value. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that imagine being a convert and then having to deal with the fact that they're talking about polygamy right off the bat. I would say the vast majority of female converts are not going to be in a situation where they can deal with polygamy, either by themselves as a new Muslim, or having their non-Muslim family having to deal with that. I know many situations where if a female convert were to marry into a Muslim family, and then all of a sudden he gets a second wife, they would disown her like on the spot, like they're walking on thin ice. And then you have to ask yourself, are we ready as a Muslim community to deal with those consequences if and when these converts end up on the street, basically? And I think I can understand why not just everyone in that house at the time during this video agreed. The husband, the father, even the daughter, like she wasn't smiling with, so she was actually in tears. So Allah knows best, like if that's how she behaves in front of her father, in any case. But that's how they deal. That's the culture there, right? So I'm not criticizing that family or the father, how he deals with her daughter one bit. If that's how they run things, then that's how they run things. But what I'm saying is that converts, this is just this type of marriage situation that I've seen before pop up can really open up a can of worms. You can have many converts who don't understand the ins and outs of the rights and responsibilities of the husband and the wife, and they get spooked and they totally could leave Islam, right? If you look down in the comment section, for this video that I posted, no Muslims disagreed with what he said. The only critique they had is that it shouldn't have been done publicly, they should do it privately, and things of that nature. So like I know people are going to say that some Muslims are going to say like that I'm being too soft, that like this is what Islam says, we should follow that. But it's only presenting a quarter of the story. No one was advising the husband on what his roles and his responsibilities were. And I know that's not the intention of the raw footage, but it was definitely the intention of the TikTok video where it said that at the end. You had that little voiceover, you know, presenting it as if, you know, we can learn something from different cultures. This is not a video that you show to non-Muslims to say this is, you know, this is the rights and responsibilities of the husband and the wife. Now that I have that opportunity, you know, like, you know, in Islam, like I said, the husband is supposed to take care of his wife. He's supposed to be the provider, food, water, clothing, shelter, and live with her in kindness. I know it's translated in ma'ruf is translated in kindness in several translations, but it both means kindness and in a customary way. You know, like you know, and on the day of judgment, you will be, you know, like Allah will look kindly on those who treated their, you know, their subordinates well. So, you know, like you know, a mother to her son, a husband to his wife, an older brother to a younger brother, a boss to his employee. You know, so that's a very important aspect of Islam that I think we forget. You know, and you know, the wife's responsibilities are to obey her husband in things that are halal. Right now, if he asks her to do something that's against Allah and His Messenger, then she doesn't have to obey him. Now, I mean, even just talking about things like obedience and stuff like that, that just makes a lot of non-Muslims just run away. And you know, I want to get into this in regards to social media. Social media is like the absolute worst place to teach people about Islam because, you know, you kind of have this dynamic where you have, you know, born Muslims, they have their Twitter accounts, you know, they're trying to like, you know, like you know, be influential in the social media world. And they're going to attract a lot of people who hate Islam, right? And you know, they're going to attract a whole bunch of haters, and the haters are going to respond with those sorts of comments, and then they're going to respond back. And you know, like it kind of creates this atmosphere where the only people that you're interacting with are people who hate Islam, where you're going to have no opportunity to, you know, get them to change their mind. You know, these are the people at the total end of the spectrum where you're not going to change their mind about anything about Islam. You know, so and you know, maybe they're trying to appeal to the red pill community, but again, that's another problem because with the red pill community, you know, they're going to the exact opposite extreme of radfem. You know, and I think that's why they're so attracted to Islam, because it's like the total opposite of that. You know, and you know, it gets to the point where they take these kinds of videos and they run with it and they go to the absolute utmost extreme, you know, to say, you know, like Islam is base. But what happens is that you don't get a full explanation of many of these matters. You know, even with like polygamy, there's no explanation of, you know, the fact that a husband has to provide everything for more than one wife, for all of his wives, right? And polygamy is not practiced very often in the Muslim world. You know, the polygamy rates in the Muslim world range anywhere from like, you know, 3 to 5% tops. It's an enormous responsibility, and you know, like I said, the vast majority of converts are simply, you know, female converts are not ready for polygamy because, you know, like their families would just flip out, and a lot of male converts don't have the funds to support one wife, you know, let alone more than one wife. I mean, if you look at the rent rates here in a city like London here, the rent rates are absolutely astronomical. And, you know, you're supposed to provide a separate housing for all of your wives. So I don't see how a convert with school debt and maybe a 50K job or even a 100K job is going to be able to pull that off. Right. So in conclusion, what I would say is this, is that I can understand where born Muslims are coming. Where born Muslims are coming from. I can understand where the family in that video is coming from, in terms of, you know, how they run their household. I don't agree with displaying that video to the whole world. You know, and you know, so that is understandable, but it's not this type of video. It should not be used for educational purposes to teach non-Muslim Westerners about Islam. You know, because first of all, it's an incomplete explanation of, you know, the marriage rules in Islam, and on top of that, it's a most extreme explanation. And a lot of non-Muslim Westerners would think, hey, if that's how they do things in their culture, that's fine, but I would never marry my daughter into that kind of family. You know, because, you know, it's just too much. You know, it's more than enough just to take your shahada and convert to Islam and face a storm from your friends or family. And now you're adding all these other things. And it just shows that, just by and large, born Muslims and converts are in two totally different paradigms. Like personally, me, I don't have any kids. If I had a daughter, first of all, I wouldn't, if I were to give a speech to my daughter like this, I would not do it in public. I wouldn't record it. At most, I would talk to my daughter and my son-in-law in private and say, this is what I'm expecting you to do as a son-in-law. This is what I'm expecting you to do as a daughter, right? And let's, we're a family here. Let's work on things together. Let's keep it in the household. And we want like a strong family, and we don't want people to feel like they're second-class citizens. That you're valued as a daughter in Islam. And I certainly would not put up with a theoretical son-in-law abusing my theoretical daughter. That I would not put up with. And like it shows that there's going to be consequences if that's going to happen. And and just obviously like even if you have like a community of converts that are that they're small and burgeoning, and that they're growing their numbers from the ground up, even for those who are second, third generation, they still have a lot of family members that are not Muslims. And I know that African Americans, I don't think they would engage in this type of speech in a public gathering that would be at least recorded, because they know that many of their family members are not Muslims, and there's sensitivities for things of that nature. So yeah, and I would not recommend my daughter marrying into a family such as this for those particular reasons. It's not to be racist or anything like that, and it's not because they're from Africa. It would be the same thing if it was Chechnya or Bosnia or things of that nature. I think converts are just in a totally different paradigm, and and this is just a perfect example of that. Because if you were to show this to your non-Muslim family, they would definitely run in the other direction, and maybe even a fresh new convert might run in the other direction, such as this. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Now, I'm not going to provide the link for this video because, for the reasons I stated, we don't know if the family wanted this video displayed publicly. You may be able to find it on TikTok, but I wouldn't recommend it because I'm not trying to spread the video. But I will provide the link to this specific YouTube video, in the comment section of my Twitter feed. So they can at least listen to what I have to say as a convert to Islam of 21 years. I can understand where this family is coming from. I can understand the raw footage, but it's not something that I would show to any of my non-Muslim family members because of those reasons. I mean, you would face an enormous amount of backlash. And you have to understand, as a born Muslim, you don't have to face that backlash. You don't have to go home to a convert's family and hear this is the video that my father-in-law posted. I don't want you going near this family. I want you to divorce them. We're going to try to sabotage the marriage. We want you to leave Islam, kick them out of the house, you never come back again, or you're written out of the will, and so on and so on and so on and so on. That's why that's my basic thoughts on this particular video. You may disagree with me. You may say, what, Rob, you're being too soft. Converts should marry into these families, no problem, they'll be fine. And hey, if you're a convert and you're okay with that, if you're okay with going into this particular culture and living that lifestyle, and being completely fine with things like polygamy, more power to you. I'm just saying that for the vast majority of Westerners, who are learning about Islam, they're at level 0. They're not prepared for this particular level. And I think if you're growing a convert community from the ground up, it's not compatible. It's a different paradigm. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the matter. And again, nothing against the brother who posted this video. I know he's my brother in Islam, and I love him for the sake of Allah. And may Allah bless this family, in this video. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on the matter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.